In Exodus 4:12, the scripture says, "Now go, I will help you speak, and I will teach you what to say." Matthew 10:19-20 says, "But when they deliver you up, do not worry about how or what you should speak, for it will be given to you in that hour what you should speak. For it is not you who speak, but the Spirit of your Father who speaks in you." I read those scriptures because I'm going to share a testimony today, and I want the Holy Spirit to speak through me. I've never shared this publicly. Only recently have I shared it with my mother and a dear pastor friend of mine who I also can trust. I have been feeling led to share it publicly. Imagine a scene like this. There's a child who perhaps has been being bullied by another child. Finally, the victim, the bullied child, starts to stand up for himself and confronts his bully. But the bully backs down. Can you imagine a scene like that? The child who was the victim doesn't realize that his big brother or his dad is standing behind him. He just thinks he's powerful, and that's why the bully has decided to leave him alone. That's what comes to mind when I think about this testimony that I'm about to share with you. And I know that I might be met with judgment and criticism, but I also know that it's going to bless somebody, and that's out of my pay grade to worry about who it's going to bless. I'll just be obedient to the Lord, and He takes care of the rest. It may only be to bless me for getting it out. It's such a compelling in my spirit to share it. So the scenario that I gave you comes to mind often when I think about this testimony that I'm going to share with you. The Lord delivered me out of so many things. The enemy was bullying me, but I didn't realize it. And I was thinking it's just my fiery personality that was standing up for myself. I'd begun to get involved in deep study of a lot of different things, deep into New Age. I even tried Comedicism, several other different religions. I got deep into conspiracy theories, things like that. And I had begun doing research on the Sikh religion. I thought that was the way to go because I dreamed about that. But then there were things that didn't resonate with me in that. Then I studied a religion called Palo Mayombe here. Palo, P-A-L-O, Mayombe, M-A-Y-O-M-B-E. It comes from the Congo of Africa. I don't want to get too deep into an explanation of the religion itself. Also, I was studying the Kabbalah. A friend of mine, he had a huge tattoo of the Kabbalah, Tree of Life. I asked him about it, and he was surprised that I knew about it. I was thinking, surely this means I'm on the right path. I was simultaneously deeply studying Palo Mayombe. He told me about a friend of his who was a high priest. I met the young man. He came to my house, and we talked over the phone, and instantly he said that he thought I should be a high priestess, but it wasn't his call. He had to talk to his higher-ups who happened to be in New York. I got a call from him that they saw in the spirit world and approved me to be a high priestess in this religion. I had to do a number of things, and I did those things, and then suddenly he ghosted me. Although at the time I didn't have that word for it. He vanished, just suddenly stopped answering calls. I reached out to him on his Instagram. He wouldn't answer me anywhere. And it made me angry. First, it was frustrating. And then I thought, this is what I'm supposed to do. This is why I'm being met with opposition. And then I was angry with him, never thinking I'd really ever run into him again. But I did one day. I went to visit my friend. And this guy, who we call Tata, he was at my friend's house. I confronted him. The funny thing was, I'm short, so I had to look up to him to speak to him. I was just going off, and I attributed my confidence to things about my personality that I no longer ascribe to. I thought maybe I had a Napoleon complex. I've had people tell me in the past, starting out in New York, probably put a spice in me, my ethnicity, made me spicy. I was a Leo, that made me spicy, but I don't ascribe to any of those things. I don't take on the personality of any of those things. And while I do love lions, they're for the Lion of Judah. I don't ascribe to astrology. So, back to the point. I confronted him, and my friend was just laughing and laughing because the Tata refused to say anything. He was almost apologetic, but he didn't apologize. And nor did he give me any explanation as to why he stopped working with me. And I thought, that's what you get. You don't treat me like that. You don't cut me off and not give me some explanation. I just thought I was big and bad. Not knowing all the time, he probably saw my guardian angels standing behind me, and he knew better to approach me. But in my sin, in my ignorance, I thought it was me. And that reminded me of another testimony that I'd like to share with you. Many, many, many years ago, when I was in El Paso, my husband was stationed there, and we were having issues, and I talked to his mom, and she gave me some direction, things to do to keep him from cheating. She told me, if you don't want to do these things, accept the fact that this is what he's going to do. This is going to be your life. I went to see the type of person she suggested. This woman set up an altar for me, and a couple of hours later she called me and said that she couldn't perform her ritual because she was running into problems, and she wanted me to come and see what was happening. But I asked her, would she try again? And she did. And she called me back, and she said, I need you to come back to me. She was on the other side of El Paso. When I got there, she showed me what had happened at her altar, and she said to me that someone very high is working against you, but someone even higher is working for you, and I can't touch this. I don't want any parts of it. And she offered me my money back. I was angry, which was my go-to. I didn't realize then that the Lord was saving me from getting tied up deeper into the demonic realm. 1 John 4 and 4 says, you dear children are from God and have overcome them, because the one who is in you is greater than the one who is in the world. I was in the world, but God still had my back. In Psalm 34 and 7, it says, the angel of the Lord encamps around those who fear him, and he delivers them. The Lord delivered me in my arrogance, in my ignorance, in my walking right into the camp of the enemy. God delivered me. It was him, his angels that were encamped about me, that kept me from going further. Mind you, I opened doors that I had to renounce and denounce and sever all soul ties with any of those doors that I opened. And even the doors that have been opened because of the trauma that has happened to me. What happened to me at the age of 5 was traumatic. The way I see it is that when you become a victim of something very traumatic, the enemy involved in that trauma is like a doorman now. He has the door open in your spirit and tells all the other entities, come on in. This is a place to come and set up shop. I'm sure that's why so many things had happened to me. The violent and brutal gang rape, other instances of rape, other instances of sexual trauma, deacons, pastors, even some family. I'm sure that the trauma that happened at 5 opened the pathway for those things to come into my life. There's so much I could testify about, and I will at some time, I'm sure. But today I wanted to tell you, be careful what doors you open in the spirit realm, because you open up curses upon yourself and curses upon your generations. And those curses may have already been in your bloodline, but you need to be the one to sever them. If they haven't been severed, if they haven't been broken. Something else I wanted to share briefly. This is not a self-promotion situation, but I gave my testimony in this book that the Lord blessed me to be a part of. God worked that out, that I would even have the opportunity to be a part of this book, Girl, Let That Go. I talk about how the Lord delivered me from grief. You can't say certain things on here but how he delivered me from unaliving myself. I appreciate everyone who's ordered and anyone who will order in the future. Also, read the other stories in it. I've read the stories because it didn't seem right to promote a book and not support my co-authors in it and not know their stories and ask you to read their stories. The Lord has opened a door for me to be a part of another book that's not out yet. I'll keep you posted. Volume 1 of that book is out, and I admonish you to get this book from Dr. LaShonda Walford. I need to mention, too, that Dr. Frances Bailey was a visionary for this book, and she is a part of this also. Breaking the Chain, Volume 1. Read it. I've read it all, and it's been such a blessing, and I am blessed to be a part of Volume 2, and I'll let you know when that comes out. But this is what I'm talking about. Breaking the chain. The Lord was really weighing heavy on me about breaking generational curses, about making sure that I have renounced and denounced the things that I put myself into. So, my friends, it's a word of caution. Be careful what you step into, and a word of encouragement that when you are weak, the Lord is strong. And he will gird you and uphold you in your ignorance, in your misguided mentality, in your flesh. The enemy, he's scheming and conniving. The enemy wanted me to get all the way into Palo Mayombe. I could have died in that. And I was going to be scratched in, which is a ritual where they cut you all over your body. Why was I willing to do that? What an imbecile. But thanks be to God. The whole point of this is glory be to God for his deliverance, for his love, for his understanding, for his salvation. For I bet God looks at me sometimes like, that's my child and I'm going to stick beside it. But I thank God that he has always stood beside me and covered me and protected me. And I'm thankful for an opportunity to share the testimony and to be here to share the testimony. Thank you so much for listening. Remember, don't open any doors that don't need to be open, but know that God can shut them. My friend, we fight from victory, not for victory. Thank you again. I love you all. Ciao.